Hello, and welcome to the Learn JavaScript series. In this video, we are going to discuss null and undefined. Let's get started. In JavaScript, a variable that has been declared but not initialized has a value of undefined. For example, if I make a new variable called name, but I do not give it a value, it will be undefined by default. Additionally, if I make a new object and then try to access a property that does not exist, that property's value will also be undefined. For example, I'm going to make an object called person that has the property first name. If I attempt to retrieve the first name, it will return the correct value. However, if I were to attempt to retrieve a property called last name, which clearly does not exist, then it will return undefined. This essentially means that JavaScript object properties that are not defined will therefore be undefined. Alternatively, null represents the absence of a value that is intentional. It indicates a lack of value, or that the current value of a variable is unknown. While undefined implies that a value has not been set yet, null implies that the value is explicitly unknown or non-existent. In JavaScript, it is common to initialize a variable to null if you know that it will have a value later on in the lifecycle of the program. That way you can explicitly check if the variable has a value by checking if the variable does not equal null. Let's look at an example of that. I've got an HTML file with a div that has the ID of example ID. If I were to search for that element by ID, the function would return that selected element. However, if I were to search for an element with a different ID, the function would not be able to find a matching element and would instead return null, which explicitly indicates that no element was found. It is common for different functions in JavaScript that are searching for an item that can potentially not exist to either return a matching item or return null. This explicitly signals to the programmer that if a function returns null, it means it was unable to find an item that exists matching the search criteria. That wraps up this introduction to JavaScript undefined and null values. As always, the description of this video will contain a link to a code sandbox that contains the code that I've written. Feel free to take a look at that and play around with it. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.